Hi, this is Donna Body of Delos. You may have heard that email marketing gives one of the best returns and value for your marketing investment, something like $40 return for every dollar you've spent. You may also heard that it gives better conversion results than social media or some traditional channels like print. But what if you're not seeing those types of results? Today I'd like to talk to you about 23 reasons why your email marketing isn't working for you, and I'm going to give you a couple tips on how to fix that as well. The number one reason is your email is not working well on a mobile device. We are living in a different world today. More emails are opened on mobile devices than on desktops, and our smartphones that we're using each day are changing our habits. Most people will skip or delete a message that looks like this when reading it on their phone. A constant contact study found that 80% of users will delete an email that doesn't look good on mobile. This screen shows an email sized for a desktop monitor, and when you shrink it down, it's difficult to read. One of the main reasons your email doesn't work well on mobile is that the fonts are too small. You only have a few seconds to get your point across, so make sure that people can read your message without pinching or zooming in. If you compare the email on the left to the one on the right, which one is quicker and simpler to read? Another reason your email might not be working is that your colors are making it very hard to read. Fewer, more consistent colors make an email easier to read. Make sure there's enough contrast between your background color and your text color. And this is really important for accessibility as well. There's a large number of colorblind and visually impaired people out there, especially on smaller devices. Keep it simpler. Your entire email is an image is another problem. Sometimes you see that you've made a great flyer and you just want to put a picture of it in your email, but we have to realize that many email clients have images turned off by default, and users will have to make an extra click to see them. If your entire email is an image, it's going to look like the screen on the left when you come into it. This is an actual email that I got on my phone, and I did not know at all what was in there. I clicked and I find that it's a great sale that's going on, maybe on something that I'm interested in, but more than likely I'm not going to take that extra step to click it. So make sure that you have the information in the text as well as on an image. Another problem, though, is if you're not using any images at all. Why are images so important? Well, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and they receive a lot of engagement from your audience. 82% of people pay more attention to emails that have images. But you don't want to go overboard. You don't want to use too many images. A constant contact study found that the effectiveness of email campaigns, 3 or fewer images have the highest click-through rate. Another reason not to overload your email with images is that they can take a while to download. This is an issue for people, especially on mobile, when they don't have a fast internet connection or may not have unlimited data and don't want to download extra things on their phones. Reason number 7, you don't have a clear call to action. What do you want the reader to do as a result of reading your email? Do you want them to view an article on your website, sign up for an event, purchase a product? If you take a look at the email on the left, it's really not clear what you want them to do. On the right, I could see clearly that there are new classes and I should sign up today. Conversely, though, you don't want to have too many calls to action. We're all overloaded with a lot of information today, and decision fatigue is a real thing. When people have too many choices, it oftentimes leads to no action at all. Another common mistake is that your email is too long. We only have about 7 seconds on each email, so you have to make sure that the information you want people to get is right there and quick and easy. And on computers and mobile devices, we don't even tend to read every word. People tend to skim the information, so make sure that you format your email so that someone can quickly scan through the points. If you compare the email on the left, which was 2 plus screens, it's not even done there, with the one on the right, you could see that it's a lot easier to skim the information. You see directly what's there, and don't put everything into the email. If there's additional information, put that on your website, and in your email, link over to it with a read more or see more link so that the information is also available long-term on your website through search. A good rule of thumb is give people enough information so that they know what the article is about and whether it particularly applies to them or not, and if they should go read more, and keep it at that. Another mistake is that you're trying to make it look like your old printed newsletter. Replacing a paper newsletter with an email one is a really smart practice. And a few years ago, as people were getting used to this change, making your email newsletter look like the paper one was a good common practice. But times have changed. People are used to email now, and with the shift to mobile devices, this type of email is no longer working very well. Don't save up all of the information that you have to say for a quarterly or a monthly newsletter. Shorter, more frequent communications are getting better engagement at this point. Another problem is that your brand is not recognized. Your email should feature an instantly recognizable, consistent header image, your consistent colors. You make sure you have your logo, and over time this information and this image will be associated with you. It should also match the same information you have on social media, on your website, in person, and in your printed materials. People sometimes think that it's boring to use the same layout every time, but think about how much information comes into our lives each day. It's really only through consistency and familiarity that we start noticing brands. So make sure that your branding is not getting lost by choosing completely different templates and colors every time you do an email. And make sure that people know how to contact you. You want more business, not less. Let people know how, when, and where to find you. Don't make them take an extra step of looking up your phone number, your hours, your location, or your website. That should be part of every email that you send. Anything that we do that makes someone take an extra step is a point where we lose people along the way who will not take that extra step when they could have been contacting us. And make sure you also include your social media links. The majority of adults in the US now use more than one social media network on a regular basis. So make sure that you let people know where they can find you on social media channels as well. Number 15, your subject line is terrible. Free is lots of punctuation. There's a number of spammy words out there that are more likely to have your email be perceived as spam, or worse yet, end up in the junk mail folder. Avoid these words, avoid the use of all caps, and avoid boring topics like December newsletter. You want to ask a question, include a deadline, register by Thursday. Keep it very short. Lists are very important. 5 ways you can save money on your insurance this week. Make it interesting. And you're not using teaser text. When you look at your list of emails in the inbox, you see who it's from, you see the subject line, and you see the first few words of what the email is about. That's called the teaser text. The combination of your subject line and your teaser text is going to determine whether or not somebody actually opens your email. So make sure that you're looking at your subject and adding a teaser, and that it's engaging and is going to make people want to see what you have to say. Another problem is that you didn't test it before you sent it. Have someone else read it for typos. Make sure you view it on your phone, and make sure you test your links. Nothing like having them register for an event and have it go to a non-existent page. You can have the greatest emails in the world, but if no one is receiving them, you're missing out. Make sure that growing your list is a regular part of your business. Make sure you're getting emails from all customers, people you meet. Ask them if you can send them information. If it's appropriate for your business, offer an incentive to join your list. It could be a white paper, it could be a drawing for a free lunch, it could be a coupon, and keep it simple. Sometimes a paper sign-up sheet is the best way to go. A jar where you're collecting business cards, but make sure that you're adding to your list on a regular basis. But don't purchase an email list. We don't want spam. It's really important that you stay in compliance with the Canned Spam Act, which says you are using permission-based marketing. People want to hear from you. It's the #1 preferred method from consumers of hearing from businesses that they are interested in. But there's no point in randomly email people who do not know you. Use your email marketing as a way to build relationships with your customers and prospects over time. Another reason your email might not be working is that you're not providing any value to the people who are reading this. Be useful. You are an expert. You give useful, valuable advice to people every day, whether it's about your products, your industry, news and tips. You have information to share, just share this on email. Another problem is if you do nothing but sell, sell, sell. You need to be providing useful information to people. If every single email that you give is a sale, a sale, a sale, you will be ignored, and you also train people to never ever do anything with you unless you go look for the coupon first. Another problem is if your email doesn't use your voice. Don't be afraid to be a human and sound like a human, especially with smaller businesses. People want to develop a relationship with the people they deal with. So make sure that you are using your voice, include pictures of your team, staff, have news about what you're doing, behind the scenes tips are good. Make sure it sounds like there's a real person writing this email. And number 23, and this is a really big reason too, is that you are not consistent in your efforts. Repetition builds familiarity. We have seen it over and over again with our clients. Sending on a regular, consistent basis, even down to the day and time, gets a lot more traction than sending 3 emails in 1 month and then nothing for 3 months and then another 2. You need to teach people when to expect to hear from you, and the traction will build. So those are the 23 reasons why your email marketing might not be working. I did give you some tips along the way, but really what can you do to make sure that you're doing effective? I'm going to give you 2 items to take away. The first one is use a template on a consistent basis that has your branding, that has a spot for teaser text. Make sure that it has a call to action section, a title, your social media, and your contact information. This will save time in developing your newsletters, and it's also going to make sure that you hit the important points, and you're going to make sure that this is a template that looks great on a phone. Now that you have your message, you want to make sure that you have a calendar. Think ahead of time, go with the seasons, the things that are happening in person, and talk about what you want to say. Sit down with your calendar and schedule out what it is that you should be doing and when your emails will be going out. This will allow you to batch, maybe do a few emails ahead of time that can be scheduled, and it's going to allow your message to be a lot clearer for people. So there's some tips on making your email marketing more effective. For more, subscribe to our email list or subscribe to our YouTube channel for more information and tips.